insane. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken futures, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello friends, this is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, August 15th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. I'm hot over here, man. My air conditioner don't work. And so anyway, thank you for joining us on this Friday. Tried to lay off the fans because it's blowing my background here. Anyway, it's not that hot today, actually. In Fresno, California, it's like 93, 95, something like this. Not over 100, so I guess I'll be okay. I've been drinking a lot of water, trying to stay hydrated. Hope everyone is having a great Friday, staying cool and hydrated out there. What do we got today? What do we even say? It's just everybody this government has are just giant criminals, fraud, scammer. They all deserve to be in prison. Gavin Newsom's definitely positioned himself to run for president on the Democrat ticket. We went over all that nonsense yesterday. We're going to rig the elections even more. God only knew it was even possible here in California. But they're going to try, right? Announced yesterday to try to steal these 5 congressional seats or nullify the 5 they're trying to rig up in Texas. And then scream democracy, right? And all the whole time. And it's like, who in the right effing mind thinks any of these criminals, Trump, Newsom, go down the list, represent your interest as an American citizen taxpayer? Now, as Trump continues to praise Operation Warp Speed, just more and more comes out about his profiteering from the presidency. Newsom here in California, just scam after scam after scam, money laundering after money laundering. From the high-speed rail to charities trying to help fire victims to unemployment, fraud, and it just goes, I mean, it's just, the crimes are legion and no one ever gets in trouble. Law and order America. I'll believe that bullshit when we start seeing mass arrests of the government. And as I keep saying, hey, government, go turn, we found the criminals you're looking for. Put up a mirror, it's you. Go turn yourselves into the FEMA camps, the immigration detention centers you're building everywhere. And then maybe we get somewhere. Obviously, that's never going to happen. And so again, we have infighting within the crime syndicate known as the federal government and state government all the way down to your local government. And they call themselves Republicans and Democrats. And somehow we're supposed to buy the bullshit that there's any difference. There's no difference. Okay, there's no difference. They're all the crime syndicate. Factions within it fighting for power. And I have a hard time even believing that. It's all just looking like show business, all political theater, all bullshit. Well, they get rich and the rest of us pay the bill. And they literally laugh in our face. And they have an army of order followers, men with guns that they will use to enforce their tyranny upon us here now. Anyway, enough of my rant here. I go and look at Governor Newsom press office. Throw this up there. And they just carry on here. Newsom's an info warrior. We give him credit for that. And they're constantly screaming in their press releases here, right? They just put up all caps, democracy, shut up, slaves. But it's just nonsense. Who believes this? Who believes this? I get it. Maybe a lot of MAGAs believe it. A lot of Democrats believe it. I don't know, man. But if a lot of people really do believe it, and it's just not all propaganda, we got serious problems in this country, worse than the politicians and government. We got to look at ourselves, Joe Blow citizen. If you believe the lies after just the last 5.5 years, 6 years, if you still believe this lying criminal government on any level, you have serious mental problems. Okay? They don't care about you. They hate your guts, actually, and they want you terminated, and they're bringing in scientific dictatorship technocracy as fast as humanly possible, all for public safety. We're living in all of that Venn diagram of every dystopian novel ever written. Now, you are in the center. If you've seen that Venn diagram of all these different dystopian novels, we're right there now. We are there. I gotta believe that the majority don't believe the bullshit, the lies and propaganda coming out of the government. I just have to believe that. I can't give up hope here. I do realize most people are too damn busy to even pay attention, trying to take care of their family, trying to work 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 jobs, how many ever jobs you got. If you're lucky enough to have a solid full-time job, that's not going to be replaced by AI anytime soon. I understand. The majority are busy with their life, but man, oh man, how can we just keep falling for this bullshit over and over and over and over and over again? I got to believe the large majority are not falling for it, and we're just fed constant, never-ending lies and propaganda on the interwebs, the social engineer, and nudge us toward a consensus toward tyranny. I gotta believe that. But hey, on the other hand, you saw how everybody acted during the medical intervention period. The very large majority, I saw it firsthand in public, off the interwebs, out in the reality, and they had the masks, they did the public shaming, they followed the stupid 6-foot social distancing, followed the lines, the little arrow dots that they had at all these at the grocery store and so on. So I don't know. We're at a crossroads, though. As long as people keep going along with this program, we're going to get Terminator. Straight up, man. Straight up. And they're coming at it fast here now. We're running out of time. Maybe at the local level, you can rally and push back against your county board of supervisors, your city council, whatever they call themselves, the local government there. Maybe. But you got to take action now. And again, all that's rigged. Where I'm at, they hold the meetings during the day, 9 to 5. Most people are at work, can't take off work to go down there and tell the government. But it's like they should know better. They don't. They're all corrupt too, all the way down to your local level, man. And so it's like we can't get any good representation at all because they're all looking out for their own self-best interests here now. So therefore, abolish government. I realize that's not practical, but that is the true solution here now. And start enforcing some of the laws on the books already for all this corruption that we've seen. No one gets in trouble. They got the guy, the DOJ attorney that threw the freaking sandwich. They're throwing the book at that dude. But all the waste, fraud, and abuse, corruption, on and on it goes. The big one, the miracle, nobody gets in trouble. By design, I believe, part of demoralization. I'm trying not to be demoralized over here, but it gets harder every day looking at just the idiocy of this. Vote harder. California's fixing the elections because Trump's rigging them. And then Trump says California's rigging them. I got news for you. It is all rigged, but they're all selected. And on we go with the political theater. Anyway, aren't you entertained? Sorry for these rants, but I'm just going over the news, looking at this stuff, just shaking my head, going, my God, man, who believes this bullshit? Maybe a lot do. I don't know. You turn into your mainstream radio. I do every now and again, the talk shows. I can't even watch the cable news. I won't get clips here and there on the interwebs, but they all the big shows toe the freaking company line over aardvark land, over the government, over left-right paradigm. So they do control the large majority of information out there. You have to go look for the information on the interwebs, do your own research to instead of just being spoon-fed propaganda and lies, and try to critically think on your own. I know that's a conspiracy theory, but we do need everybody to think on their own. That would definitely help. Don't be spoon-fed by your favorite clown influencer, whether it's on TV, radio, the interwebs. Okay, let's get to the news here. Sorry for these rantings. Okay, what do we got? Of course, the big Alaska, Trump, Putin, the rest of the government. You had them all gathering up there. You had Lavrov from Russia, of course, foreign minister. You had little Marco, the whole crew. Both sides are there. We'll go over that, all the propaganda for this. And Trump, they've already done a press conference at the end of it, and Trump says, well, there's no deal, but things are coming along. We'll see. Stop killing each other. Stop killing each other, man. And they wouldn't be able to do any of this without the order followers again. The social engineer mind controllers are doing one hell of a job on humanity. They know what they're doing. That's 100% for sure. What else do we got? We're going to go over some of these contradictions about Social Security. They made a big deal, the 90th anniversary of the Ponzi scheme yesterday. I'm going to cover back over that a little bit. White House hands down loyalty ratings for hundreds of companies. That's not inside dealings now, is it? But let me tell you, they care about the taxpayers. Americans in all 50 states will see a tax cut with the one big beautiful bill. They don't talk about the inflationary aspects of it. They don't talk about we'll go over it. What else do we got today? The hostile takeover of DC. A little bit more of that news. ICE detention center profiteering. And still, no one gets in trouble for allowing it to get to this point. Almost as if there's a giant conspiracy and this is all by design. A little bit of public health news. We're going to go over the Epstein associates that didn't kill themselves. 24 people linked to Jeffrey Epstein have died under mysterious circumstances. We can't let the Epstein story die. We're not going to let it die here at Weaponized News. Some more globalist news. World Economic Forum investigation into Klaus Schwab found no wrongdoing. So, of course, that's totally legitimate. Palantir news, scientific dictatorship. Some more video out of China, the first world humanoid robot games. And then, of course, aardvark genocide news. It continues there. Settlers, maniacs just going around raping, pillaging. But they're the good guys, so what the hell? You know what I mean? They're the good guys. There's no crime they won't do, but they're the good guys. Don't be an antiseptic on the interwebs here, questioning what the hell is going on over there as they continue to stack up the bodies. With that, let's get to this day in history. On this day, going back to the year 1876, we saw U.S. law removes Native Americans from Black Hills after discovering gold. In 1939, on this day, we saw the release of The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, an American musical fantasy film adaptation of L. Frank Bonham's book, premieres in Hollywood on this day, 1939. Side note, Bill Still did the, I forget even the name of the documentary, Secrets of Oz or something like this, where he takes a look at the novel, and they did have backhanded monetary reform symbolism in the novel. For those not familiar, Dorothy's slippers in the novel were silver, the yellow brick road. Of course, in the film, they turned them to rubies. And so there's a backhanded call for monetary reform there in the novel. For those interested in that, economic nerds that haven't seen that, look up Bill Still. I forget even the name of it. It's a great documentary, as all of his documentaries are, of the Money Masters. But the second one, I forget the name, something Secrets of Oz. Just look up Bill Still, Secret of Oz. You can find it. And it's goes over a lot of economic monetary history that you should probably know, or just take the damn brain chip and shut up. Again, on this day, reported on yesterday, depending on your time zone, victory over Japan is declared after Japan surrenders, signifying the end of World War II. Quite significant there. Again, it happened yesterday, but depending on your time zone, so we'll celebrate it again today. And then, of course, this image again that allegedly has people triggered, kissing the war goodbye in New York. VJ Day, victory over Japan. Classic image there. Hate. It's obviously hate. Moving forward here to in 1969, we saw the Woodstock Music Festival in Bethel, New York kick off today. For what that is worth. In 1971, we saw then President Richard Nixon announce a 90-day freeze on wages, prices, and rents. In 1979, on this day, Apocalypse Now was released. All-time classic film there. And then in 2025, like right now, first ever World Humanoid Robot Games begins in Beijing, China, with over 500 androids from 16 countries competing in various events such as football, martial arts, and dance. And we do have some better video. But and reminder, this is just what they're showing us publicly here now, right? Not to scare us off with weaponized humanoid robots. This day in our civil liberties history, let's take a look. Going back to the year 1967, CIA began spying on anti-Vietnam War movement under LBJ's orders. Convinced that foreign governments were behind anti-Vietnam War protests, LBJ ordered the CIA director, Richard Helms, to begin spying on the anti-war movement. The CIA names the spying program Chaos. It had to be foreign governments. It wasn't Americans that don't like seeing their sons and daughters coming home in body bags, right? It was foreign governments, because America loves to go die in illegal foreign wars of aggression. The exact date of the meeting is not known, but this day marks the official CIA memo on the program Although Helms told LBJ that such a program would be illegal, LBJ ordered him to do it anyway. Great Democrat, progressive hero LBJ. There you go. While a number of people and agencies helped to create the chaos program, the prime mover was CIA spy master James Jesus Angleton, as mentioned in his biography. The CIA delivered 4 reports on the anti-war movement, all of which concluded that the anti-war movement was homegrown. Wouldn't you know? Turns out Americans don't like sending their sons and daughters over to die in illegal foreign wars of aggression. LBJ rejected the conclusions of the 4 reports and remained convinced that the anti-war movement was influenced or controlled by foreign governments. That's what the official story says here. And that was 1967. On to 1973, the ACLU, back when they were quasi-legitimate, standing up for civil liberties, the ACLU affiliate in West Virginia on this day supported the Ku Klux Klan members. Aren't all these just, government operations at the top as well, provocateured by the federal government? I do believe they are. Members who had been denied their constitutional rights to hold a meeting in a public park in Huntington, West Virginia. Klan members sought the ACLU's assistance when the meeting was banned. Hampshire County Court upheld the action. Well, isn't that good of the court to honor the KKK's First Amendment rights with the help of the ACLU? It just warms the heart, doesn't it? And then moving on to 2013 on this day. And so if you liked CIA spying, I'm sure you'll love NSA spying. NSA broke its own rules thousands of times a year. An article on spying by the National Security Agency, NSA, in the Washington Compost, based on documents leaked by former NSA contractor employee Edward Snowden, reported on this day that the NSA broke its own rules on surveillance thousands of times. There was NSA whistleblowers, all kinds of them came out, told us this is happening. What do they get? Raided, probably poisoned, killed, spied on, all this, right? And so what do you do against the crime syndicate? I guess they weeded out all the good people. I bitch and complain, well, where are the good people in the government? Well, they come out as whistleblowers and they get screwed over. So it's like, what's the incentive? You know what I mean? And so I do understand that, but why do you go to work for them in the first place is the next question. Knowing all this, because you're a psychopath or at least a sociopath, because you can't be a good person working in this government crime syndicate. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to tell you, MAGA. As has been proven over and over and over and over and over again, with all the whistleblowers, the good people come out, blow the whistle, they get screwed. And so at this point in time, in 2025, there are no good people in the government. If you are good, come blow the whistle, you'll get screwed, resign immediately, and ask for forgiveness from the people here, from your alleged employers, the U.S. taxpayers. And above else, ask forgiveness from your creator for all the crimes that you've committed against your own people and foreigners as well. It's just their crimes are legion here now. All right, with that, here's the historic summit. And I was looking, are they doing Freemason handshakes here? I don't know. Let's take a look. It's hard to tell. We have video of the handshake too. But there's the iconic image of the Alaska 2025 summit. They're between Trump and Putin. They both have their red power ties on there. And I have a sneaking suspicion that they're doing a little bit of Freemason handshakes there. It's kind of hard to tell. Or that one handshake where you do this. Something's going on there. Pursuing peace. They pumped it. They pumped the propaganda, even though there's no peace deal. Pursuing peace. There you go. What do we got? A few people tuning in, not that many on this Friday. Chloe says 8 watching, only 1 hit the like. Hit the like, share. That could help. That could always help. Okay, here's a segue to the news. And then, yeah, we'll get to the news. Of the red carpet treatment for Vladimir Putin, as a bunch of corporate media here in America jump up and down and scream, arrest him. Obviously, that would not be a good move. I saw some post of these, quote, Democrat shills saying assassinate him, basically. Yeah, I don't think that would work toward a peace deal. And to reshare it there on the X. Yeah, no audio. And so there they are. I don't know. Let's go back to the handshake and take another look here. They're touting. Trump always does this move of bringing them in. I'm looking for the Freemason handshake here. It's hard to tell from this far away. And there you have it. So there will be no arrest or assassination of Putin on this day, as they many were calling for. And here's the show of force here of the #1 crime syndicate, U.S. government, and it is intimidating. USA, America, that is pretty damn intimidating. Still shot of it. There you go. The stealth and the rest of them. Okay, do we even care about this? Let's see. This is before the meeting. Of course, they had Fox News on Air Force One with Trump. But they're fair and balanced. Do they even say that anymore? They're objective journalists. No, they're government propagandist hacks the war channel. Truly disgusting. This is funny here, though. Hillary Clinton says if you can get a peace deal, she'll nominate you for the Nobel Prize. So, you know, they're pumping Trump get the Nobel Prize. He may very well. Reminder, he's bombed 5 countries since he's been in office, the second term. He's bombed Iraq, Syria, Somalia, Iran, Yemen, 5 countries for a Nobel Peace Prize. They're lobbying here now.
In fact, did you see that Hillary Clinton yesterday said that if you got this deal done and not capitulate to Putin, that she would nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize?
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that was very nice. I may have to start liking her.
There you go. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. He was never going to lock her up. She's a big time gangster. So is he. It's all political theater. It's all show business. Okay. What did Zelensky have to say about all this? Because he's the guy that's telling his guys to pull the trigger on the Russians. Well, let's take a listen. How much we could stand to this freaking guy. It's in Ukrainian, but it is, we do have English translation. subtitles here. What does he say? He says, on this day of negotiations, the Russians are killing as well. They're both sides are bad. Stop killing each other, for Christ's sake. And that speaks volumes. Recently, we discussed with the U.S. and Europeans what can truly work. Everyone needs a just end to the war. Ukraine is ready to work as productively as possible to bring the war to an end, and we count on a strong position from America. Everything will depend on this. The Russians factor in American strength. Make no mistake, strength. Do we want to listen to this guy? Let's just play a couple. I'm not even, it's like a 4.5 minute video. I'm not even play the whole thing. But here he is in the interest of, booking it for historical purposes.
Шановні українці, українки, коротко про сьогодні. Звісно, отримую доповідь від нашої розвідки, від дипломатів про підготовку зустрічі на Алясці, про те, з чим їде Путін.
Okay, that's about enough of this guy can stand. He's an unelected dictator, and that's the truth of the matter. Here's Trump after the meeting. Let's hear from Trump. And they were glad-handing about Soviet-U.S. relations and how we worked together during World War II. And isn't it all wonderful? And the poor people go off to die for the oligarchs, is the bottom line of this.
I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe. Thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today.
Yeah, and who in the chat intimidating and wasting millions, maybe billions, just to put us in our place. Yeah. Bindi Boxer on the YouTube said, yeah, how much did all this cost? You know what I mean? We better get a peace deal or stop sending weapons and funding to Ukraine. Okay. More propaganda from the federal government. Do we believe this? President Trump is delivering huge wins, making D.C. safe again, establishing martial law and a permanent police state, potentially, setting the precedent to do so. Kennedy Center honors. Poor folk like me will never wind up see anything at the Kennedy Center. So that's for elitist oligarchs. Billions in investments, again, for oligarchs. Small business sentiment high. Really? I'm a small business. The economy sucks. Inflation falls. More lies. Join ice.gov. So I guess that's a sign they're, if we believe what they're saying, I guess that's a sign that the propaganda does work. With reported over 100,000 applications to sign up to be a government thug. No tariffs on gold. Russian hoax. And no one gets in trouble for any of this, for the Russian hoax. And of course, the historic summit in Alaska that we just watched. Let's watch this propaganda video out of the White House. We paid for it.
It was another busy week here at the White House, delivering results for you, the American people. Let's dive into how we made America great again this week with another MAGA Minute. The president implemented a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. to restore law and order following years of out-of-control crime that has already yielded more than 100 arrests for firearm offenses, narcotics, assaults, and homicides. President Trump visited the Kennedy Center, where he delivered remarks and unveiled the 2025 Kennedy Center Honors nominees. John Deere, Ford, GE, and AbbVie announced billions of dollars of new investments in the United States, and small business sentiment reached a 5-month high this month. The July inflation report came in below expectations, with real wages having risen every single month since President Trump took office. That means more money in your pocket. The president announced that there will be no tariffs on gold. 110,000 Americans have applied for jobs at ICE since it began its recruiting effort. And if you're interested, check out join.ice.gov for more info. Pending claims at the Department of Veteran Affairs are now down 37% since President Trump took office, because our nation's veterans deserve better. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassified more documents exposing the Russia hoax, and former DNI James Clapper, who abused his office in historic fashion. And in addition, FBI Director Kash Patel revealed that disgraced Senator Adam Schiff leaked classified intelligence to shape political narratives in his attempt to hurt President Trump. The president is now on his way to Alaska for a historic bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the hopes of ending this brutal war, and he will keep you posted on how that goes.
I know you're not tired of winning. Why? Only thing good out of all this is giving the veterans their benefits that I could see, honestly. So they expose more frauds and crimes of the government. No one gets in trouble. We just reported in 2013, the NSA broke its own rules thousands of times, spying on Americans. No one gets in trouble. So there you have it. What are they saying here in the chat? Kay says Trump's 33rd degree Scottish Rite actor. I don't know. They usually are not shy about their Freemasonry membership, so I haven't seen anything concrete about it, honestly. And says the real Trump died. I can't go there with all this. The real people died, and these are all actors. I just can't go there. They're actors anyway, regardless if it's the first generation or a clone drone guy wearing a mask, whatever. They're all actors anyway, so. Okay, continuing here. I'd like to see solid evidence that he is a Freemason, but I haven't seen it. We have seen it from Putin, though. We have seen that evidence from Putin. Okay. Continuing. No tax on tips. When Trump cut taxes on tips, he gave every waiter, waitress, bartender, delivery person, and barber in Ohio a raise, on average $1,300 per year. How about taxation theft in tax on our labor? How about that idea, Trump? Yeah, that's a little bit too much, right? That's a little bit too much to ask for. The Trump administration has zero tolerance for fraud, they say. This is Brooke Rollins, Secretary of the, well, you'll like this one. She's the 33rd U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, 33rd. Brooke Rollins, big ag lobbyist, formerly, says this week, President appointed federal judge sentenced an illegal alien to 10 years in federal prison for skimming tens of thousands of dollars of SNAP EBT benefit cards in California and New York, not on our watch. Well, the entire thing is a fraud. So there's always that. Trump claims credit for fixing Social Security as it barrels toward insolvency, as we covered yesterday. It's a it's a Ponzi scheme, but he's given himself credit for fixing it. Social Security's barreling toward insolvency faster than before because of Trump's tax bill and immigration policies. According to experts, the agency has faced tumult since the U.S. DOJ service came in with a grand scheme to root out fraud and overhaul the program. The Social Security Administration told us herself, as I continue to report, every year, it's like 2 years back, we're going to be insolvent. We're going to be insolvent. But hey, you better damn well, you will, because it's automatically deducted from your paycheck. You know what I mean? So you literally, as an employee, have no choice here now but to pay into this Ponzi scheme. Let's watch this short report about it.
Today marks 90 years since President Franklin Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act into law, providing assistance to millions of Americans. Many rely on it to survive, but Social Security faces a looming shortfall of money to pay full benefits. Ryan Gruenfelder is the Senior Advocacy Manager for AARP Illinois, and he joins us now to talk about the impact. First, let's talk about this 90 years. That's certainly something to celebrate, but so often you hear people say, when I retire, is it going to be there? What is your answer?
Yeah, and AARP is working hard nationwide today to celebrate Social Security in its 90th birthday. And the reason we're doing it is because of how important this program.
Enough of this guy. They AARP, give me a freaking break. They're pumping retirees on fixed incomes full of propaganda and lies. The Social Security Administration itself says that it'll be insolvent. I should look up the exact numbers, but I know that's fact because I reported on it many times already. Okay. White House hands down loyalty ratings for hundreds of companies, Axios says. The West Wing has created a scoreboard that rates 553 companies and trade associations on how hard they work to support and promote President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. What? That's not insider trading, right? That's not, what do you even call it? It's fascism? What do you even call it? It's definitely corrupt. At the very least, it's corrupt inside dealings, pay for play. Factors in the ratings include social media posts, press releases, video testimonies, ads, attendance at White House events, and other engagement related to the One Big Beautiful Bill. The organization's support is ranked as strong, moderate, or low. I wonder how their termination lists are ranked at Palantir and the Pentagon. Axios has learned that examples of, quote, good partners to the White House and Trump include Uber, DoorDash, United, Delta, AT&T, Cisco, American Airlines, and the Steel Manufacturers Association. How it works. The data, which is being circulated to the White House senior staff, will be used as a reality check when someone from K Street calls and says, for instance, that they would love to catch up, was so great working with you to pass the big beautiful bill. So they're going to put the lobbyists on check here now about, did you really support it? And they'll be using it for insider dealings as well. You better believe it. Just goes through here more about who's on the good list. Yeah. And those companies specifically, because they're slaves, contractors, I guess we should be blessed to be able to be employed, or we'll be a homeless junkie and, swept up with a bulldozer. But those aforementioned companies they're earning tips. Some of them, like Uber, DoorDash, these gig economy gigs out there. Okay, continuing. They say Americans in all 50 states, that is they as in the White House. Let's pull this up. Americans in all 50 states will see a tax cut with the One Big Beautiful Bill. No consequential tax cut on the middle class ever. Most, they say. Now, Tax Foundation, leading nonpartisan tax policy nonprofit, confirms that between lower inflation, massive investments, and historic tax cuts, all Americans are reaping the benefits of the Trump economy. And the golden age has just begun. According to White House Deputy Press Secretary, i.e. government propagandist, I haven't seen jack. All right. And I know many other Americans haven't seen jack either. They say the average American taxpayer will see a tax cut of $3,752 thanks to President Trump. One Big Beautiful Bill. The historic law, which includes, again, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, an expanded child tax credit, Made in America tax breaks, small business tax cuts, and much more, is a cornerstone of Trump's economic agenda, which is taming inflation, driving historic investments, and fueling blue-collar wage boom. Really? Here's a map of where you at on this big tax cut that's saving us. I'm right here in Fresno County, and I'm in this color. So what, $2,000? I don't know. We'll be conservative and say $2,500 they saved us. Wow, whoop-de freaking do. Whoop-de-doo. We see energy, food costs, just your basic needs to survive. Have the prices have inflated like 50% due to shutting down the supply chains, the lockdowns, the medical intervention period, Operation Warp Speed. We all lived through it. It's mind-numbing to even go over it. Most want to just flush it down the memory hole, act like it never happened. We, as in Joe Blow citizen, trying to survive in this country, are still suffering the consequences as they cheer whoop-de-friggin-do $4,000 tax cut. We're not even getting that. But even if you got that, it still doesn't offset all of what has been done here now, does it? Go take a link. Oh, and this gives me a chance to apologize. Something went wrong. I got flagged on X for copyright, like first time ever. They don't even care about copyright there. They just shadow ban you and say nobody even saw it, so what's a copyright? But anyway, that cleared all my links out yesterday, and I did not put, my bad, as they say. There are no links to the show notes from yesterday, but I'm sure if you're interested in any of the topics that I covered, you can just search them up and find them. But again, Weaponized News Substack, the links will be there. You can go check out this map, or just search up on the White House. Just search up the White House. Americans in all 50 states will see a tax cut with the One Big Beautiful Bill, and you can go find your area, the map, and see about how much they're lying to you. Okay. The debt, the deficit, the federal government's still running over $1 trillion. Was it one? I forget even the exact number. Over $1 trillion deficit, as running out of time to close the books on this fiscal year for the government. I think it ends on September. So we got like, a month and a half to close that gap of deficit spending as the debt went over $37 trillion. Let's watch this. U.S. government reports $291 billion deficit in July. But those tariffs are saving us. And the foreign governments are paying them. It's not being passed on to the consumer, right? That's a lie they tell.
was $244 billion. Now, these bigger deficits being fueled by higher spending that hit an all-time record for the month of July last month. Spending was up 10%, the Treasury said, versus the same month last year. Now, fiscal year to date, the deficit is at $1.6 trillion, only slightly outpacing where it was this time last year.
There you go, $1.6 trillion deficit and record high deficits. But I thought Doge, I thought they cared. They told us the Trump administration cares about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in government spending and the national debt. Huh? Well, according to their own official, even they can't even rig the numbers good enough to make it look good. Even with rigged economic data, this is where we're at. It's much, much worse than this. We have no shortage of money. It's stuffed in all the wrong pockets. Indeed there, Pamela Drew. Indeed. Indeed. There is no shortage, but it's all stuffed in the oligarchs' pockets, not in Joe Blow citizen like you and I. Oh, man, isn't that true? Okay. Let's see here. What do we got? Pamela Drew said, Social Security funding right from Enron account manual. Indeed. Indeed. There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, here is Peter Duke posted this, and I agree. He made a great point. We'll put it on the screen. And then here from Catherine Austin Fitz. Why are the Bank of International Settlements and the ECB, European Central Bank, upset about stablecoins? Mega rich madness. Solari report last week, and a Duke report made this reply post to it. And I got to agree, the CBDC versus stablecoin conceit reminds me of Aldrich Plan 1 versus Federal Reserve Act. Aldrich Plan 2. Form a mass mind control operation. Indeed. Indeed. For those not familiar, go back and look about your history, about how they brought about the Federal Reserve, and you'll see what he's talking about there. Let's hear now from this report. Let me take it off mute. Here we go.
Here's what they're planning to do, and this is why the BIS and ECB are upset. So remember when one company would tender for the stock of another company to take it over?
Yes.
Okay. So hostile takeover. The New York Fed and the Fed, through stablecoins with the Treasury, are now tendering for 8 billion global citizens through the currency.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to come in through the smartphones. You're going to come in through Apple Pay. You're going to come in through Google Pay, right?
Yeah.
And what they're hoping is if you're in Bolivia, you're going to get off the Bolivian currency, or if you're in the EU, you're going to get off the euro, and you're going to move on to stable coins, which means you leave the existing banking system that's making loans to businesses and enterprises and people, and instead put your money in a stable coin, which finances the U.S. government. So you are proposing a giant sucking sound of money out of the banking systems all around the world into financing the U.S. government. I mean, talk about a Soviet economy.
You don't even need to take it out of the banking system. You can add it to the banking system.
I'll get in. That's a whole nother conversation, right? You can, but you're talking about sucking money out of every currency in the world into the dollar.
Yes, that's what you're talking about,
right? And so instead of everybody doing their own CBDC, reporting up to the BIS, you're talking about the Fed and the New York Fed offering everybody instead to come into a private CBDC, which is totally programmable. So my Palantir social credit system and program will apply not just to Americans, but to the whole planet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Bingo.
So we're building a planetary global credit system.
Yeah.
Which is why I find that, So we're talking about basically a hostile tender for the whole planet. Now, we did in the second quarter wrap up. Mark Goodwin did a fabulous piece on stablecoin, which is its Larry, and I recommend to everybody that they read and listen to that one. I did an interview with him, and then this week we published our interview with Darren Moore on stablecoins, and I go through all of this. And one of the most amazing things I discovered in the process of, because as soon as the Genius Act came out, we were reading it and trying to understand how it worked. And one of the things I found amazing was apparently the Secretary of Treasury and the Chairman of the Federal Reserve have been working closely on this legislation for months. And what you see is they're basically taking the amount that the Fed has been buying in treasuries and they're planning to move it to stable coins. So they're getting the Fed's dumping, as treasuries roll over, their position is going down, down, down. Okay.
Right.
So essentially, the Trump administration is helping the Fed get out of the treasury market. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Right.
And so what is that, like some kind of backhanded? I need to look into it more. Sounds like backhanded quantitative easing using stable coins, just all giant fraud interface. But don't question it, or your social credit score there will be less than mine, I guess. So it's all wonderful. It's all wonderful here now, isn't it? Let's play this report. Back and forth. Who is going to run DC, and why is no one in trouble if there's such an emergency of crime that Trump had to declare an emergency there to bring in the National Guard, essentially de facto martial law in Washington, D.C., because the crime was so bad. Why does no one in the government responsible for keeping public safe? Because anything for public safety, they'll literally terminate you for your own safety here now. Why does no one, the local government, the federal government, anybody, who cares, right? Setting the precedent for martial law, as Trump has talked about going into other major U.S. cities. And I saw chatter on the interwebs about, hey, there's big financial markets in New York and Chicago as well. This may be part of it. We don't know. But of course, using crime as the cover. And why is no one responsible for taking care of why do we even have government? They're supposed to administrate the public infrastructure because the rest of us are doing our other jobs out there for public safety. And yet they failed at their jobs. No one gets in trouble. And here we are with martial law in DC. DC sues Trump administration, all using their taxpayer money. DC sues Trump administration over move to sideline MPD chief, calls it a hostile takeover. What do you try to do? Put in the head of the DEA there as chief of police. I'm sure that'll help DC out a lot. Let's watch this report.
Well, obviously, it has been our big story all this week and overnight. The federal takeover of D.C.'s police force deepened.
President Trump's attorney general is further cementing the administration's hold on the city. Here are 4 things to know right now. Today marks 1 week since the increase in federal law enforcement began in the district. And as we just mentioned hours ago, Attorney General Pam Bondi put DEA head Terry Cole in charge of the D.C. Police Department.
Now, this comes after an order yesterday directing MPD officers to go further in assisting immigration and customs enforcement agents. And all of this is unfolding as D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is out of town. Now, she will return to D.C. today after tending to a family obligation yesterday in Martha's Vineyard. For more on the overnight developments, we want to go to News 4's Joseph Omo.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot to unpack and understand here, so help us with that.
Lots of twists and turns to this story this week, guys. Okay, so who has the top job at the DC Police Department right now? That is a complicated question with a complicated answer. Here's what we know. U.S. Attorney General. We're talking about Pam Bondi. She's apparently handing over the reins at the DC Police Department, not to the current chief of police, Pamela Smith, but to this man, Terry Cole, who is currently the head of the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. In an order signed by Pam Bondi yesterday, she says that Cole will assume all the powers of the DC police chief, that Cole has the authority to issue orders, and that existing leadership within the police department actually has to receive approval from him before issuing any directives. Now, here's where things get even more complicated, guys. We do have a response from the mayor on this. As you can imagine, she is not happy. She posted an opinion from DC's Attorney General, right? We have our own Attorney General here in DC, Brian Schwab, who says that all of this is unlawful and that the mayor indeed has control over the police department right now. If you are scratching your head and you don't seem to understand what's going on, you are not alone. We're going to be asking for clarity throughout the day as to what is going on here. But safe to say, not a good position to be in when there is a literal power battle for a police department. You have the local DC government saying it's ours, and then the federal government saying it's theirs. So we'll keep you updated. What a dynamic, guys. Back to you.
So they're going to play that blame game, and then no one's ever held accountable. What about the mayor there? All right, with that, let's take the live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers over there. We have the holograph sticker, the white background sticker, and the clear sticker here. You can see right there. You'll get new ones, of course. These are our demo models. Weaponizednews.com. Help support independent reporting and analysis on the interwebs like no one else at weaponizednews.com. Okay, let's continue here with the news because maybe people are out running errands. I have errands I have to go run as well, is why we're missing our regular crew, but that's okay. Thank you, everybody who is tuning in right now. Let's get to this report out of Bloomberg. Let's take a look at this. The profiteers of the ice. And so indeed, we need to clean up illegal immigration, again, we need reform on the government side as well. And so, and someone from the previous administration, from whoever let this happen, we know there were people that were in positions of authority that are supposedly responsible for immigration into America, Mayorkas, amongst others, and no one gets in trouble again. And then who fits the bill to clean up their mess, allegedly, as they use it to backhandedly build this scientific dictatorship, technocracy, police state? Who bears the brunt of the suffering of it? American citizen taxpayers. 5 people angling to get rich off Trump's ICE detention plans. Several small family-owned firms have joined big players like Geo Group on ICE's short list for $45 billion in federal detention spending, i.e. building the FEMA camps up here now. Let's get to the names. Here are the names. Here are some of the companies and founders and owners who get rich from Trump's immigration crackdown, either from work that's already underway or contracts that could be handed out in the coming months. Again, all insider dealings here now. Can I start a company and go get a contract? Well, hell no, because as we went over there, they're tracking, did you support Trump administration propaganda for the big, beautiful bill, for all of it? Did you campaign for Trump? Did you sell out American interests to be a government propaganda shill hack? Well, apparently these people got the inside track here. Disaster Management Group. They have direct contracts since 2020. Well, maybe I'd be a government contractor hack shill for that much money. $50.5 million. Helping to build what will be the largest immigration detention facility in the country, i.e. FEMA camp. Logistics, acquisition logistics, direct contracts since 2020, $28.8 million. They're all complicit in the illegal immigration, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? Recana Solutions sounds like a marijuana company to me. Their background's in staffing. They have direct contracts with the federal government for $76.4 million. So there's a list of all the traders. I'm sure they have the list that have worked to bring about the invasion. Now the subsequent building of the police state for the invasion. It's all part of the conspiracy against you and me. Gotham's, look, bat testing, emergency response, a totally fraudulent company here. $1.65 billion contracts since 2020. Everyone at the company should be arrested for fraud at the very least. And God knows what other crimes they're committing. But instead they get over $1 billion, over $1.5 billion. Geo Group, their background's in prisons. They want everybody in a prison. If they can't physically put you in a prison, we're in electronic prison here now. And they're big players in imprisoning people there now. With direct contracts since 2020, $6.4 billion. Or aren't they the good guys? I'm sure they're all criminals too that belong under the prison. But it's perfectly fine because what the hell, anything in the name of perceived public safety? Again, the government can't and won't keep you safe. The only way to be 100% safe, lock yourself in solitary confinement. Okay, on to a little bit of public health news. Marty Markary, head of the FDA, can never pronounce this guy's name. Anyway, he says FDA is proud to approve another gene therapy. Well, isn't this wonderful? There was a time when you'd be banned for even saying gene therapy, but now it's openly admitted. We are committed to regulatory flexibility when it comes to novel technologies. Well, isn't that wonderful? It's a brand new technology. What the hell? Regulations that keep the public safe. As they scream democracy and we care about public safety, we'll go ahead and waive those. We must modernize our processes to meet the needs of patients. How about we need a little bit less of what they got and a little bit more fasting and praying here in America, and that's all free. How about that idea? Today, this is the FDA, you can see right here. Today, this is yesterday, we approved a first of its kind non-replicating adrenal viral vector-based immunotherapy for the treatment of adult patients with recurrent respiratory papillomatosis. FDA approves immunotherapy for recurrent respiratory papillomatosis. There you go. Now, isn't that just wonderful? They cut all the red tape to give you that gene therapy. I don't want anything what these people got, man. But it's the most wonderful thing ever, right, YouTube? Yep. And that's right from the government. So there you have it. Okay. Shannon Joy posted this. I found it interesting. This is from Jay Bhattacharya, head of the NIH, our new Fauci. He says, we are continuing the Operation Warp Speed model of investing in technology with the most potential to help Americans, as we just saw the FDA talk about there. In his recent Washington Compost opinion piece, Bhattacharya expresses praise for Operation Warp Speed, which fast-tracked the miracles, shoved billions to pharma, and provided outrageous liability protections. He also pledged to replicate Operation Warp Speed in the future. Isn't that wonderful for public health? Okay. Do we trust the National Enquirer? I don't know. Maybe as much as the failing New York Times and the Washington Compost. Maybe even more. Who knows? But Let's take a look at this story about Epstein, as we're not going to let it die here. More than 24 people linked to Jeffrey Epstein have died under mysterious circumstances. You don't say there. They didn't kill themselves. Well, maybe they all did, because we know Epstein did, according to Cash Patel and Bongino, the great MAGA patriots who are going to bring us justice, transparency, and get to the bottom of it and get all the child molesters in the government in prison for life. Well, it turns out they're doing none of that and covering up for the whole Epstein affair. Jeffrey Epstein's mysterious death occurred 6 years ago this month, but the National Enquirer has discovered 22 people in the sketchy billionaire's orbit have also died under murky circumstances, fueling fears of a cover-up. Yeah, he knew a lot of people. I'm sure 22 of them died, and it wasn't even sketchy. Again, this is the tabloid newspaper, National Enquirer, at your supermarket checkout stand. From the predator's alleged victims to house managers, lawyers, accountants, investigative journalists, and pimps, the list of unexplained fatalities traces a dark money trail that leads straight to Epstein's inner circle, i.e., the government. There were a lot of people entrapped and entangled through Epstein's web, and many of those people are gone now and dead, said private investigator Ed Opperman. Here are some of them. Financier Stephen Hoffenberg confessed in a final account before his death. Two Enquirer's Doug Montegro, that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted pedophiles now imprisoned, recruiting Madam, were tapping honey trap videos of sleazy VIPs and underage girls for a cabal of deep state blackmailing power brokers, i.e., let's just call it what it is, the government. This puts a lot of high power people in very dangerous situations. He died. He was 77. I don't know. Could have been natural causes. You know what I mean? Maxwell's, she's now at that minimum security prison. They say anything here interesting? Let's just go through the names. I'm not going to read this whole article, but it's all sketchy. This one died after a brief illness, 50. You got the miracle out there as well. You know what I mean? Some of these people, 80 years old, was 76 years old, 88 years old. You know what I mean? So people do die of old age naturally as well. But a lot more die from Rockefeller medicine. But you go through the list, 75, 55, 59, 55. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, maybe it was all natural causes. I don't know. I'm open-minded here. I'm open-minded about it. But I lean toward government conspiracy to take out those in the know that may, expose the whole deal even further, because we know the FBI certainly and the DOJ certainly are not going to. So the link to this will be Weaponized News Substack, or you can just go to National Enquirer, I'm sure, and find the story there. Continuing, I found this rather funny. Report out of Reuters. World Economic Forum finds no evidence of wrongdoing by founder Schwab. And then backhandedly mocking everybody, they put an image of Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, smiling and laughing. The World Economic Forum today said it's broad and completed an investigation into allegations against World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab, protege of Henry Kissinger. That information dug up by our friend Johnny Vedmore. Shout out to him. He guest on the show on Tuesday or Monday, actually, I think. So go back and look at that interview. Very good interview we did on Monday with Johnny Vedmore. Anyway, continuing, and found that there's no evidence of material wrongdoing by him. Well, see, they investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing. So, I mean, totally legitimate. The World Economic Forum had launched an investigation in April into Schwab following a whistleblower letter alleging misconduct by him. The announcement of the investigation came after Schwab said he was resigning as chairman in April without stating a reason. The Geneva-based organization also said it has appointed BlackRock CEO Larry Fink and Roche Holdings Vice President Andre Hoffman as interim co-chairs of the board. And so that's why they have old Larry Fink of BlackRock laughing here, because now he's co-chair of the World Economic Forum's board. But hey, if there's any wrongdoing, they'll do a total thorough investigation and find no wrongdoing. So there you go. Continuing here, tech bosses spend millions more on personal security. Well, I wonder why. They're the good guys. They're the good guys. All our tech bros here. It's not like they ever, lied to you, social engineered you, mind controlled you, stole all your data, sold it for profit, are bringing in scientific dictatorship technocracy. So I don't know why they would need to be spending all these millions of dollars on personal security. They're the good guys. They're the bros, the tech bros. The security budgets for chief executives of 10 big tech companies analyzed by the Financial Times rose to more than $45 million in last year. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, NVIDIA, and Palantir all increased their protection budget by more than 10% on year. And of course, this is from the fallout of the alleged assassin there, Luigi, the alleged assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But he was healthcare. These are big tech guys. I don't know. These guys are helping us be more efficient. So there you have it. They know they're up to no good, and it's more than obvious. But let no one threaten them or do any harm to them. Of course, we would never advocate for such a thing here on Weaponized News. But it is interesting that they know exactly how evil they are and what they're doing. And they know they need this giant security force to keep them safe. Because someday, some way, the public may wake up to the tyranny that they're bestowing upon us. Technocracy. Even though Palantir is now the 19th largest public company in the United States, experts say it could be first in line for Trump's $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense plan. Here's the report. Defense contractor Palantir stock trended, this is 2 days ago, on Wednesday, trended up as it traded close to a 52-week high. President Trump's $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense plan could create new contract opportunities for companies like Palantir by opening bids under the Scalable Homeland Innovation Enterprise Layered Defense Initiative, SHIELD. Isn't that a character out of G.I. Joe? I think it is. And so, but they do not love their acronyms there at the Federal Government Crime Syndicate. And so again, more profiteering. We just saw ICE profiteering off of illegal immigration and building of the police state. And then on the high-tech side of this boondoggle called the Golden Dome military industrial complex, profiteering as well there from the leaders of the technocracy, Palantir. Isn't this all just wonderful? Of course, it's for our own public safety, national defense. And so this is what they're showing us publicly here now. Watch robot athletes compete in the world's first humanoid games. This is a report out of BBC. And they don't look that intimidating, but again, remember, this is just what they're showing us publicly. What do they really have in their underground bunkers and underground bases that they are not showing us that are fully weaponized and ready to terminate you and I and anyone that questions the technocracy here now, rapidly approaching. Indeed, their Denver is that. It's like the Special Olympics, indeed, but don't lay your guard down. Don't lay your guard down here now. This is just what they're showing us publicly. And not very intimidating looking, right? But hey, put some weaponize these robots, and then yeah, as we've seen with the dogs, that ball, that one crazy ball out of China, drones, obviously, a myriad of other of these robots have already been weaponized, but we're just waiting for the humanoid robots, i.e. Terminators, to come out. Okay. Okay, said not at all. Okay. I know you were only kidding there. Okay, ADL, everybody's favorite civil rights group, you know what I mean? Don't be antiseptic. But Denver says they all moved like they really needed. Yeah, well, they may be constipated there in China, the water, you know. Okay, ADL, our favorite civil rights group here, standing up against all the Nazis here in America. Let's put this on the screen because there's been a controversy on the interwebs about the definition of America First. They say people are calling out the ADL. I know it's hate, but let's report on it here now. The ADL says, let's be clear, there is nothing new in ADL's glossary of extremism entry on the slogan America First. People have found this definition, and it's pure hate. America First is a term that has been used by extremists in antiseptic, racist, xenophobic ways dating back to World War II era. America First Committee, headed by Nazi sympathizer Charles Lindbergh. Many Americans think Charles Lindbergh is a great American hero, but I guess he's a Nazi sympathizer piece of trash. It also has been used in some conservative circles, referring to an ideology that emphasizes American nationalism, non-intervention, and anti-globalist beliefs. It's important for people to understand how different terms and slogans are used. What do you even say to this? The ADL. I can't even say much. They're a foreign entity here in America talking bad about America First. Don't be a Nazi. Okay. And talking about who we should be supporting is the Aardvark government, because the genocide there continues. In the past 24 hours, Gazan hospitals have received 51 dead, 2 recovered from under rubble, and 369 injured. And so the genocide continues there. The official total, and it's way more than this, is since October 7th, the worst attack in the history of the world. Since that, it was totally staged up, stand down, computer generated images, fake body cams. Who cares? Who cares? Hamas, terrorists created by aardvarks. Who cares? Kill them all, man, as Metallica would say. Okay, here we go. Going back to the worst day in the history of the world, October 7th, 2023, the Hamas killed there in Gaza by the aardvarks 61,827 and 155,275 injuries. And it's way worse than that. It's way worse than that, but that's the official numbers. And that's genocide. Aardvark land targets emergency workers trying to help people trapped in Gaza City. And so, but hey, we saw Bibi all this week say they're not starving anybody. If you even try to help them, you're a Hamas. And so you deserve to be terminated. They're taking over. They're doing the Greater Aardvark Land Project, as Bibi has told us. Aardvark Land military spokesman officially announces the beginning of the occupation forces' assault on Al Zaytun neighborhood near Gaza City. They're doing it, man. They're doing it right now. Here is a video, quite shocking. Aardvark tanks chase starving Palestinians away from Gaza. Humanitarian Foundation aid point in central Gaza's Nexzarum axis, holding back the crowd until after 1 hour security sweep. May just get whacked trying to get some food and water, as we've seen. Quite a mass of people there. Look like little ants, but you could see them. They're on the move. Record wave of aardvark settler violence continues across the West Bank. Again, a roving band of psychopaths that go rape, steal, and destroy many Americans in this group, American aardvarks. But hey, they say they're from God. I guess if your God's Satan, then their activities there are perfectly fine. What do we got here on the reportings? And of course, everybody reporting saying it's bad Hamas. I guess I'm Hamas. I don't know. And I've continually said I don't even like Muslims. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I don't agree with their religion. Doesn't matter. What do we got here? Do we have numbers in this report? Yes, we do. According to the failing New York Times, in an article published yesterday, aardvark settlers carried out more than 750 attacks on Palestinians and their property between January this year and June, the highest monthly average since the UN started compiling records in 2006. They're going all out, man. They're seizing everything, whacking everybody, stealing all their property, Muslim, Christian, whatever the hell you want to say you are. You know what I mean? Atheist, whatever. Pagan, freaking Wiccan, whatever you want to say you are. They're taking your stuff there. The Aardvark said, Greater Aardvark Land Project, full on, we're doing this thing. And they are doing that thing. And it's ethnic cleansing, genocide, war crimes. It's quite horrific indeed. All right, so that's all we got for today. There is no we have no peace deal there in Russia, Ukraine. The talks continue. Definitely no peace coming out of Gaza, the West Bank, the whole area, Lebanon. They've taken over Syria, so that part of the project is complete. So the genocide will continue. It's very sad. It's evil. It's pure damn evil, man. It's what they're doing. More and more people are saying it. We'll see how all this sorts out at the UN in a couple of weeks. It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. They're still sieging them, blocking clean water, food, medicine, energy, whacking journalists all over the place. Over 200 journalists have been killed there. 5 just this last week. It's just they are the worst tyrants ever. You know what I mean? So who's the worst tyrants ever? Yeah, maybe they don't have the death count up there yet, but they're working on it. They're working on it. And once if they ever complete this operation of Greater Aardvark Land Project, you better believe they're going for the record. What tyrant has the record? I don't know. Mao, Stalin. Who has the record? America? I don't know, but whoever has the record for most terminations, they're definitely going to try to achieve it here now with the full backing of the United States federal government. It's truly disgusting. Our Congress is just beyond the pale of disgusting, corrupt, pig pieces of trash. But none of their, they won't go fight. Them and their families won't, but they'll definitely send us off to go die in their illegal foreign wars of aggression. Truly disgusting. And with that, let's wrap up this broadcast. Let me go to the channels quickly on this Friday. Thank you, everybody who has taken the time out of their Friday to join us. As much of the news was overshadowed by this big peace summit, which we literally got nothing out of, except for a bunch of millions upon millions of taxpayer money spent. Highland, John, Fat Bob, Gurr, thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. What do we got here? Zap Comics, we're another plague plunge into depravity. It celebrated the disgusting and the ugly. I never heard of Zap Comics, but yeah, sure. Let's see here. What do we got? Yeah, they're bantering in the chat there amongst themselves. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm hot over here, sweating actually. Highline says, yep, liquid robots controlled by sound. Now there's a baseline. They're building the technocracy in front of us, but hey, they had the robot games in China. Isn't it wonderful? Quite dystopian indeed. Batter on X says bump and put it in. We'll do what's best for the chosen ones. Thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee. Lively chat as always. Yeah, it's meant to normalize it. Oh, that's just a robot. Oh, they just, terminated a dude. Well, he was late on his taxes, so, I mean, he deserved it, right? Wowzers. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee. Bitchute, thank you guys for tuning in on Bitchute, Facebook, YouTube. Saw a few chatting, a little bit of chat going on there. Rumble chat. More people came online as we were broadcasting. Thank you guys. Denver, Chloe, Pamela Drew, a few others. If I missed you, thank you for tuning in. We're missing Barry. I did see Denver said he saw Barry on the interwebs. Barry, if you're listening, come back. Come back to Weaponized News. We miss you. And so but it is good to hear that Barry is doing well and still around on the interwebs, spreading his dissension against the state. And so we wish you well, Barry, and hope that you would come back to Weaponized News audience and lend your commentary to the chats. What else did we have? I think that's about everybody. We have the small audience on Kick and Twitch. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Friday evening. Have a great weekend. And we'll be back here on Monday for more Weaponized News.